Good morning and welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. Today we're going to take a look at trees. Look at those trees. There's a tree. Trees. Trees. There's a tree. So this is my Walmart parking lot. This is going to be a video about trees, part of my environmental series. That's better, now you can see me. I've done this video about 8 times. I have a really hard time actually getting through the video, the concepts. It's really simple. The most basic part of this. You need to plant some trees. I need to plant some trees. I have planted only a couple this year, but I have planted something like 40 over the past decade. I need to do better. Okay? Definitely need to do better. All right. We need to plant about 1 billion trees. We need to manage them. We need to harvest them. We need to deal with the resources. We need to make use of the resources. And we need a whole bunch of shade. That is this video. Now, this parking lot is planted with spire oaks. These are spire oaks. And you'll notice something about them. They grow like this. That's why they're called spire oaks, all right? They don't provide any shade. They don't branch out. They don't do that, okay? Now, there's a couple reasons you would use those in a parking lot. One is lower maintenance. 2 is to fulfill the letter of the law of having to have a certain number of trees in your parking lot to build your Walmart. Yeah, sorry, just that's about all you got. They're fun trees. I actually enjoy spire oaks. I bring the girls out, my younger children out every couple of years because these are a biannual acorn producer. It takes 2 years to produce acorns. We gather acorns, we give them to the pigs because we run pigs, we have livestock. And it's fun. It's not seriously useful. We'll get 15 gallons, which is not a lot of food for pigs. But it teaches them something about different ways of looking at the world, okay? And I think it's very useful. So these trees provide no shade. They look kind of small and scraggly. Here's the thing. This shopping center is 18 years old. These trees are just about 20 years old. And that's not good. There's no shade. So let's talk about the shade part for a minute. I used to live in a small hippy-dippy town in California. It was a university town, one of the UCs. And on the west side of town, west side of campus, there was an area that had some shopping centers and parking lots, lots of apartments, lots of parking lots, and it was very shaded. The streets were shaded. It was designed that way, okay? It had like road names like Rivendell and stuff from The Hobbit, Bag End, literally Bag End. Really nice, pleasant place, and about 5 degrees cooler on average in the summer than the other side of campus, the actual town of Davis, downtown, where you did actually have some trees. Like, it's not that there were no trees, but there was no shade for the parking lots or the streets, okay? Big difference in temperature, because you're talking about summer temperatures in the mid-90s. 5 degrees, pretty reasonable. Now, there was a green roof movement. Before the global warming alarmists took over environmentalism, we were actually looking at a lot of really cool projects, right? Green roofs was one of the really cool things for urban zones. You take things like this 7-acre building of Walmart and you plant a green roof on it, and it is supposed to be able to reduce summer temperatures in urban zones by 2 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Human numbers. That's a lot. That's a really big difference, and that's just the green roofs. That's not shading the parking lots or the streets. Psychologically and physically, trees are good for humans. Psychologically, it's just... okay. Psychologically, humans are built to go outside and look at nature. It's part of our brain chemistry. Trees help. All right? A parking lot full of trees doesn't look to your brain, especially the back parts of your brain, the older parts of your brain, like an industrial wasteland. So there's that. It's also healthier. Well, people walk more when it's not awful. Okay, and I'm just going to be really blunt, It's going to be 104 degrees today. That's the predicted high. Yeah, so we're going to have people waiting in line in the sun with no shade outdoors at the DMV 6 feet apart. We're wearing masks for 4 hours, which is a different rant, but at least if they had shade trees, it would be a little bit better. But people walk outside more if they have places to walk outside. And, you don't want them walking on the sidewalks near your busy streets. Whatever, go to bed, Karen. You need the trees. Trees make it a lot more pleasant to walk, especially in the summer. Resource management. All of these trees are a renewable and great, fantastic resource. I heat with wood. I live in the country. It actually makes sense. It's a lot cheaper than trying to heat with gas. I'm not even going to talk about electric. Wood is used for construction. Wood is used for paper. There's all sorts of resource usage and from wood, and also there's the fruit. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating the weird hippie thing, okay? There's this weird hippie thing where they say, plant fruit trees and it just magically feeds the homeless. It's not that easy. You have to fertilize, you have to trim, you have to take care of the trees, you have to deal with diseases, you have to deal with the fruit. It's not just, the homeless people get to eat for free from magic. No, all right. Fruit trees are a good idea. Certain fruit trees are actually really good to grow. In an area like this on the side of the road, crab apples would be notably good out here. Fruitless mulberry, because you don't want the fruiting mulberry anywhere you have sidewalks and parking lots. Trust me on this one. I have some of those in the back of my pasture. Shade trees. Spire oaks are a really good thing to plant in with your dogwoods and your boxwoods and your fruitless mulberries. I don't particularly care for cottonwood. Cottonwood isn't bad. It's actually a really good wood for some specific uses, but you have to harvest it. You have to harvest it. They're not safe trees to have around if you let them grow much, because they're self-pruning, which means they drop 500-pound branches at a moment's notice with the slightest gust of wind. Anyway, details about which trees isn't the important part. I don't care if it's Palo Verde, right? I care about the shade and planting lots and lots of them. This is part of terraforming planet Earth to suit a large population of humans. We need these trees. There's a whole lot of reasons you can say that the planet needs the trees, but we really do need them, and we need them in our cities. We need to restructure our cities around them. Now, you'll notice, you may not notice, but I'll show you, in the parking lot, these trees are in individual planters. They're 6 by 8 foot plots. And that's bad. They don't have the soil access, okay? The dirt under the asphalt is not just magically going to grow trees forever. You do have a soil cycle, and they need to have more space. And that's less efficient in terms of parking lot usage, but you got to suck it up. There's things that you have to just deal with from this, okay? But they need to be lines, like 8 or 10 feet wide, that are dirt, that go all the way up and down all the parking lot plats. That would work a lot better. Of course, what do you do with all these trees is you manage them, you profit off them, you use them, and that means that humans are going to be involved and humans are going to fight over it, okay? This tree behind me here, that's a $500 tree to somebody. But it's $100 tree to the guy who's going to take the tractor and dig it up and transport it to the guy who's going to pay $500 for it. But that's money. It's a resource. It has value. And you can't just ignore that. It's one of the complications of saying plant trees in the cities. You have to manage them. Okay, trees do require management. Absolutely. And that means people making $20 an hour. But there's also harvestable resources. So who owns that? Who gets that money? Who pays for that? All this stuff is complicated. And I want you to understand that I know this, okay? This is one of the things that I run into problems with a lot of environmentalists, is that they don't understand that there are costs involved. There is management. You don't just throw a couple of seed bombs while you're smoking a bowl and poof, the world is a better place. I mean, sure, if there's a abandoned lot and you can throw some seed bombs out there, go for it. But understand that all of that plant matter is going to have to be dealt with later, whatever it is. So I think I might have gotten this video to actually work. I've kept it under 18 minutes. I haven't talked about too much stuff. These are trees that are 20 years old, not doing any shade. Not a good answer. Still better than the Walmart that's one town down, 40 miles away. This is out in the middle of nowhere, which has no trees at all. That thing's horrible. But, you need the trees. This is not the way to do the trees. We need shade trees that provide shade, because we need shade because it's summer in the desert. Yes, you need trees in all of your different environments. We're dealing with humans in various environments, and you have to manage those environments. This is not the place to do desertscaping. This is a place to plant trees because you got a whole bunch of asphalt and buildings and people. All right? Trees. Plant trees. Got that part. This is old. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I do have an orchard. I have planted trees in cities before. Not the right trees. Spire oaks are beautiful landscaping trees. They're not beautiful shade trees for parking lots. That's about it. Again, far less concerned about your global warming concepts than I am about getting trees planted. Go plant some trees, man. Stay sideways.